Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. You may have seen the big news this morning. Marvel just teased the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They also confirmed some of the new cast members. So this is the first official picture of the cast, the main cast, in costume. I know you can't really see them because they're in a shadow. It's really just meant to be a teaser like, hey, we're in costume, cameras are rolling, shit is going down. The bigger news, I think, isn't so much this picture. I mean, we knew they were going to film. That was a foregone conclusion. James Gunn has been posting teaser pics of them doing rehearsals, but they have a couple big names, and we know at least one of the new characters from the comics they're introducing. They're doing the Mantis character, we know that for sure. James Gunn said that it's in the movie. They haven't officially confirmed her, but the actress who's playing her, I don't know exactly how to pronounce her last name. I think it's Palm Clementif, but this is going to be Mantis in the film. She got mixed up with the Guardians before they did their big reboot when the first movie came out. They've done a lot of different things with the Guardians team since the movie blew up. It's changed quite a bit, but she flew on the Milano. One-upping that, they just cast Kurt Russell. And what I think is going to happen with this character is he won't be like the official villain of the film, he'll just be the antagonist. Just like when they cast Benicio del Toro for the first film, I don't think there's any way they're going to confirm who Kurt Russell is playing, but I think we're all in agreement when we say he's probably going to be Peter Quill's father. And it sounds like just based on Kurt Russell's style, just the way he carries himself in all his films, he's going to be Star Fox. He's going to be Eros of Titan, Thanos' younger brother. Interesting side note, Thanos is not supposed to be in the film. He'll probably be mentioned, but he's not going to be in the film the way he was in the first film. That's a whole other matter. Now, in the comics, I know Peter Quill's father is Jason of Spartax. Probably the funniest way to explain it is the Spaceballs explainer, because Guardians of the Galaxy is so irreverent, Spaceballs is so irreverent. Peter Quill, this complete asshole space cowboy, as described by the Nova Corps, finds out that he is the heir to this giant space empire, the Spartoi Empire, which is kind of a Spaceballs thing where it's like, oh my god, I'm a prince, surprise. So yeah, the movie's not doing Jason as Spartax. James Gunn just said he didn't like that character. He didn't want to go in that direction. I think because so much of the movie is going to revolve around family relationships, it just makes more sense for them to change it and make Eros of Titan Thanos' brother, Peter Quill's father, so that even though the galaxy is this huge place with all these different comic book empires, it still feels relatively small. Like Peter Quill could run to the ends of the galaxy and still would not be able to escape his family. When James Gunn was writing the movie, he was really cool about doing like periscopes and doing Q&As on his Facebook page. He talked a lot about the film in a roundabout way. I mean, he didn't give away spoilers or anything like that, but he did say that fathers were a big deal in the movie because the biggest question in the movie is who is Peter Quill's father and what does that mean for the galaxy? At the end of the first movie, they revealed that Peter Quill has some ancient DNA in him. They just, very mysterious. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's something really old. So, if his father really is Eros of Titan, Star Fox, we can just call him Star Fox. His grandfather, Star Fox and Thanos' father, is Mentor of Titan. He's one of the Eternals, which is like this weird offshoot of humanity that when humanity was first burgeoning on the Earth, the Celestials came, visited, experimented on humans, advanced some of them genetically. They became the Eternals. If you've never read Marvel's Eternals comic, think of it as a slightly different version of the Fourth World done at Marvel. Now, the Fourth World is Darkseid, Highfather, DC Comics stuff, also Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby also created the Eternals, which is why it sounds a lot like Fourth World stuff. So Thanos of Titan flows from Eternals backstory. Now, Jack Kirby created the Eternals in the 1940s. Jim Starlin created Thanos and all those characters in the 1970s. I know it gets a little confusing when you have a bunch of different groups in the comics doing different things and they try to tie their backstories together. But you have Peter Quill, then above him you have Thanos of Titan, then above him you have his father who is descended from this Jack Kirby group of Eternals. So Peter Quill theoretically has 50% Eternals DNA in him. Let me know in the comments though, do you think that Star Fox is going to be Peter Quill's father, that Kurt Russell's going to be playing him, and that will make Peter Quill part Eternal, explaining why he was able to hold the Infinity Stone without it vaporizing him. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff that we have to explain about the origins of Titan and how Thanos became evil, like what the whole relationship between Thanos and his brother is. That's like a whole other video. There've been a couple comics that have dealt with Thanos' origin story, but remember, the movies always change a lot of stuff from the comics. If you want to read that first appearance of Star Fox and Thanos, though, it's in an Iron Man comic of all places, which I think is kind of funny. It's Iron Man Volume 1, number 55. It was from 1973. The title is Beware the Blood Brothers, but it's not talking about Eros and Thanos. The Blood Brothers are two minions of Thanos. but I feel like it just fits. I mean, the Eternals look like people. That explains why Peter Quill doesn't look like some crazy alien. He still looks 100% human, even though there's some powerful DNA swimming inside of him. But there is another actress named Elizabeth Debicki that was cast for the film. I know a lot of people are wondering, maybe she's playing Death. If Death is going to be a big part of the Marvel Universe and Thanos' storyline like it is in the comics, and what better place to do that than in a cosmic movie like Guardians of the Galaxy that takes place in space? If we're theory crafting about Peter Quill's father, we know even less about what's going on with Death in the Marvel Universe, so I'm not going to make any predictions about who Elizabeth Debicki is playing. I really like the idea though, if Marvel's going to be changing a bunch of stuff for their movies, if they make Thanos obsessed with Hala, who's the ruler of the Asgardian afterlife, and really powerful, not quite as big as the cosmic entity Death. So don't make too many theories about what's going on with Death in the Marvel Universe yet. There's just too many questions about it. And in terms of Infinity War crossover, it sounds like based on what James Gunn has said, like, oh, we're not going to directly be setting that up in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It sounds like Infinity War Part 2 would be where the Guardians show up. But all they've really said officially, like James Gunn for instance, is like, yeah, I have an idea for the Guardians crossing over with the Avengers. No, I'm not going to talk about it. Anytime anybody asks anyone, they're like, nope, we can't talk about it, which is standard operating procedure for Marvel. Like, they completely denied that Benedict Cumberbatch was up for Doctor Strange until they were like, hey, we just cast him. Remember a year ago when we lied about it not being a thing? That's just normal studio stuff, but I really do hope that they actually do the cosmic entity Death. The funny thing is I've been talking about Deadpool a lot lately. Death itself doesn't really buy into Thanos. She just kind of swipes left on Cosmic Tinder, swipes right for Deadpool. She totally loves Deadpool. Now you have to keep in mind that Deadpool is this really funny comic, so that title takes the character Death way less seriously than when she shows up during the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. So because of what's going on with all the studio politics, I'm not really expecting to see the cosmic entity Death show up in the Deadpool movies. They'll probably just make some jokes about it. Like the way they joked about only seeing 2 X-Men over and over. It's almost like we couldn't afford any other characters, winking behind the camera. Speaking of which, I am working on a Deadpool 2 video, Deadpool 2 Step Up to the X-Force. Because Deadpool made so much money, it made like $150 million over the weekend, over opening weekend, crushing all kinds of R-rated premiere records. They might up the budget for Deadpool 2, so you might see more characters, more X-Force things going on. But I'll talk more about that in my Deadpool video. That'll post tomorrow, so be sure to subscribe to get that. My next Guardians video might explore some of the lore around Thanos and Titan. There's a lot of interesting stuff there that we haven't gotten to in the movies yet. While you guys wait for my next video to post, you can click here for my Flash video from last night, Escape from Zoom Mountain. It was a great episode. And you can click here for all my Deadpool Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.